clearly, Israel has no answer for Iran's ballistic missiles, for their drones, and for their for their ballistic missiles and their drones right now, which are striking strategically and showing that Israel is no longer a stable country. Now, Professor Postal, who used to work for the United States in developing missiles and who's an independent researcher, has said that uh, virtually Israel has no air defense anymore. And that's basically because what Iran did was send decoys at first to waste all their interceptors. And then once all the interceptors were coming, all those cheap decoys that everybody thought were the real missiles, after that, they start sending in more precision missiles and more devastating missiles. And then even after that, once they've taken out Israel's radar and blinded them in, they're no longer using the missile strategy. They're sending in cheap drones in numbers to destroy Israeli infrastructure that's very important, military bases and things like that. Then Postal goes further to say that even without getting rid of the interceptors, the dome system that Israel had was garbage. It's made for shooting down objects that are the size of planes. It's not made for dealing with Iranian missiles, which are too nimble, too fast, and have too many deceptive qualities, such as bursting into decoys and things to get them. And he's challenging the number that the U.S. military says that they were taking down 90% of Iran's missiles. He's saying it's probably more like half or less than half of that. And that when you look at imagery, forensic imagery from the strikes, you can see it. The U.S. military is trying to say that whenever you see an explosion that didn't hit the ground, that's a sign that they intercepted a missile. But a lot of those explosions are actually decoy fragments and not the actual missiles. And if you want proof that they're not catching a lot of missiles, all you need to do is take a look at Israel today. Take a look at Tel Aviv and Haifa. Wreckage everywhere. So my question is that if you're intercepting so many missiles, how come your country has been devastated infrastructure wise so much to the fact that overnight people can't sleep. They have to keep on waking up and going into bunkers so they don't get killed. That's a sign that they have no defense system, missile defense system. They're open prey to Iran, and also a sign that Iran has what I call de facto air supremacy. What de facto air supremacy means is that even though they don't have airplanes, they have missiles, and the missiles are able to go where they want to go and strike what they want to strike without Israel being able to do anything, especially since it doesn't have radar. But once again, even if they did have radar, they wouldn't be able to shoot down these missiles because these missiles break into parts which are decoys, and also a lot of these missiles are actually, especially the hypersonic, they're so fast and so elusive that you still can't strike them down. So I don't know when Israel wants to get the memo and how they want to keep on going with this war. But if this war continues, the infrastructure is going to be decimated systematically. And at some point, Iran is going to get angry and start aiming at civilian areas, which will be defenseless. What are your thoughts, Afolabi?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And Professor Postol's main line of argument is that the so-called Israeli and US air defense systems, such as the Patriot, the THAAD, and the Iron Dome, are largely fictions when they are faced with modern ballistic missiles. While these systems may be moderately effective against low-speed drones or aircraft, they fail to, reliably engage, like you mentioned just a couple of minutes ago, high velocity hypersonic ballistic warheads. The current crisis now, if you look at it, is being accelerated by a crisis of their interceptors. The defensive batteries are running out of munitions, basically. Basically, all of them are running out. So the main thing here is that the batteries are underperforming. And by spending billions on defenses that don't work, leaders have bought into a kind of an illusion. When they realize that they are not really protected and these things are just fictions, they begin to pivot from confidence to panic, existential panic very quickly. And without working a steady way to navigate, all that is left is to escalate the violence and begin to probably maybe contemplate an all-out nuclear war, basically when they seem boxed to a corner. Because, I mean, if you look at the Iranian strategy, is working a T compared to the US and Israel. A lot of these things that they have relied on over the years are just optical illusions. Against very hypersonic, high velocity ballistic warheads, they are not reliable. at all.
No,
And then let's
no.
not even go to the cost of deployment of some of these intelligent drones that the Iranian government, some of them are as cheap as $15,000, $20,000. And these guys are, are being more effective than the billions of dollars worth of Patriot and Third Iron Dome interceptor system. So this is asymmetric, this is effective, this is just plain and simple brilliance from Iran. But
And Iran,
yeah,
go ahead. Go ahead.
as time goes on, if everything continues this way and the US and Israel continues to look stupid, I think what will happen is to just maybe press the nuclear button arsenal, maybe.
No, I don't think. See, if once the U.S. and Israel press the nuclear button, that's going to be an admittance that they lost the war, and then now they want to use their only weapon left, and it's going to show the whole world what the U.S. is. They said they were coming into Iran to help liberate the Iranian people. Are you going to liberate them by sending a nuclear bomb to their country? That's all I have to say. And last thing I'll say, Postal has said this: a nuclear bomb won't destroy the nuclear weapons that they will put on Iran won't destroy it. It it will cause a lot of damage, but within 3 months, Iran will now send a nuclear weapon to Israel too, because they have the capability under the ground. They have as much new uranium. So a nuclear bomb in Iran will kill maybe 100,000, 200,000 people. But this is a country of 90 million people that's spread out. So this is what they want to do. If this is what Israel wants to do. Once you send that nuclear bomb to Iran, they're going to send one to you in a couple of months. If you don't believe me, go and do the research. This is MIT. I'm not making this up. They've done the projections. So Israel, once you send a nuclear weapon to Iran, don't think you're not going to get one back. Which is to say that Iran, even if we don't know if they have it now, and once you do that, what they're going to do is they're going to set off all of their missiles under the ground to strike um, civilian areas in Israel. Not even their nuclear weapons, their ballistic missiles. These things can be set off in programs because Iran is decentralized. So what will happen is hundreds of thousands of people will die in Israel too. But the only difference is that Israel's population can't sustain that. So this is to all you people who love the West. Once you press that button, it's sort of like a little bitch who can't fight, that's beaten up by somebody stronger than her, so she gets a gun to shoot them in the head because she can't fight with her fists. You people aren't men. You little girls. You want to use a nuclear weapon is a gift to girls who can't fight because you can't win conventional warfare. So you use a cheat button because you have no courage and honor. If this is what you want to do, go ahead. And remember this, we now know you're lying. Because why would you use a nuclear weapon to liberate Iranians? No, that's what you're doing to destroy the whole country because you hate people of color, you hate Arabs, you hate Islam. The only people you like are white. That's the whole fucking truth. That's why you love Israel. That's why the whole world loves it. Not the whole world. The whole West stands up for Israel, but they don't stand up for Palestinians. You guys are disgusting. Take us out of Falabi.
Yeah, so like I said, if you think that by pressing the nuclear button, you are going to pulverize and obliterate Iran, you're in for a big shock because what's going to happen is that they have the capabilities down under their bunkers to carry out retaliatory strikes, nuclear strikes that can even hit the West harder than they can ever imagine. As far as I'm concerned, the first phase of this war is one to Iran, zero to US, the West, and Israel. And US is looking very, very humble now with egg on their face. Their next move is your guess and my guess. And it's on that note we round up another very interesting political show from Mustafa and myself. We'll be back again. Bye for now.
Shout out to the Epstein class. Good luck. That was a bad one, man. And you
Yeah,
can
it was
tell that
good
was.
one.
Can you imagine that we're now having the possibility of a nuclear warfare? It shows you how useless the West is.
Yeah, sure, sure. So I mean,
Back
it
in
was never an option. It was never on the table. It was never
the day,
an
no, just
option.
lose. It's no big deal. You lose a war, big deal. Just lose your war. But they're ashamed. America doesn't want to admit to lose a war, or just say you lost the war, or say you won. Simple and walk away. And also, let me tell you, the nuclear fallout. If Israel strikes Iran, the nuclear fallout will still affect the whole continent. You see what I'm saying? Because that radiation is going to go out all over the area.
And the interesting thing here is that Israel is suffering more now than the US, and they
Oh
are
yeah.
the catalyst for this. They are
No,
being
but it's a sort of
pulverized.
insanity because And Israel wants to continue. They want to continue the war, even though they're suffering. They've been so radicalized. They're like those Boko Haram in Nigeria.
Yeah,
Those ones they
yeah.
don't. They just want to continue. They want to kill Christians. They don't care if it destroys them. That's what Israel is. Yeah. All right, with them, I know it's your F1
Yeah.
and politics. So
Oh,
you've done 30 now. Yeah,
yes.
30. All right, so I'm sure we'll do something tomorrow. I'll let you know. Okay.
All right.
Thanks. Yeah.